Hey, so today I wanted to make this video because I noticed how many agency owners, coaches, consultants are targeting the wrong market with their offers. You probably heard Alex Hormozy tell you 1,000 times that you need an irresistible offer to actually sell. Probably even read his book. The thing is, you can have an irresistible, amazing offer, but if you have the wrong market fit, you're not going to sell any of it, or you're going to sell very little, and it's going to be a struggle to acquire new customers. Just realize you can see me right there, but anyways, this video is about how you can tap into a new market to actually sell your irresistible offer and not struggle with that client attraction by just creating your own pocket in the market. So hopefully this video actually helps you out sell and attract more clients. Today I want to talk about a very big problem that I'm noticing in the coaching market and in the biz op space in general, and that's with gurus preaching that you need a no-brainer irresistible offer to be able to sell your service. Now, while that is true, what many forget to tell you is that you might have the perfect offer, but the market that you are actually offering your offer to might not be the perfect fit for that offer. And what's going to happen is you won't be able to sell your offer, not because of your offer, but because you're mismatched with the market. While I do have a separate offer building video, here I actually left myself a note to insert a link. Unfortunately, I didn't. And if you do need a link to that offer building video after you watch this video, please message me and I will send that to you. Today I want to talk about finding the perfect market, and this does not mean that I'm going to tell you to switch your market, target a different niche, maybe start targeting different people with your service. Instead, I want to show you how you can leverage an untapped pocket of your market, of the current market that you're in, to blow your sales through the roof. As you guys can see, the problem in the space is 99.9% of people will focus on the most aware market, basically selling to the top, to the most aware space, and basically most aware segment of your market. And this does not really work because every coach out there who's in your niche is selling to the same market because they're looking for that perfect client. And of course, the perfect client is at the top of the market. It's the person who is aware of the solutions, who's aware that they have a problem. But that isn't a perfect client to actually attract because it is so hard to attract those clients and it takes so much resources, time, and energy to attract those clients. So you need to focus on the market that's unaware of the solution but aware of the problem, or literally focus on the market that is unaware of both the solution or the problem. It's almost logical if you think about it, because you're going after the perfect customer who is aware of the problems, who is aware of the solutions, and is essentially waiting for you to actually hand them that solution and start working with you. Yet the problem is most people and most of your competitors are trying to sell to that top of the market, but they all end up competing for the same price because they are all swimming in the red ocean when it comes to client attraction. So what ends up happening is only a few win the price while everyone keeps hustling for it, and the few that do win that price have probably been in the space for years and years on end now, and they've built up an audience of their own in the hundreds of thousands or the millions, which allows them to be able to sell to that top of the market. So here's the solution and literally the way that you're able to stand out. So instead of focusing on that hyper aware top of the market, you need to focus on the unaware market that's unaware of the solution, unaware of the problem, as I mentioned, that you can then convert into that perfect customer. You can convert into a customer who's aware of the solution or both aware of the solution and the problem. This way, you remove yourself from all of the competition in your niche and you really compete with yourself. You create your own market because you educate that customer on the problem and then you pose your solution as the one and only way they can actually solve that problem. So instead of looking at your competition, they're not even going to look at your competition because you're going to have that one solution that's unique and specifically dedicated for the audience you're able to build up and convert into your perfect customers. If you are able to transition the prospect from being unaware of the solution and the problem, or just being unaware of the solution, into a customer who is aware, that's how you create your perfect client, and then you are going to be the only one that's selling to them. And this transition is exactly what we do with growth-focused sales assets and authentic conversations with the prospect. We transition them from being unaware to being problem and solution aware by disarming their simple level problems and educating them through authentic conversations. With this, the first thing you need to do is A, point out the real problem and resonate with the prospect, and B, make the solution you are offering the only viable solution for the prospect to take in order to get to the next step, right? Or in order to solve their pain point. This is exactly what the transition looks like. You're literally taking them from being unaware to aware through conversation. And we were able to do this by disarming them of their symptom level problems and then finding the real problem. Then we give them a solution that will resonate with that real problem. It's kind of like sales calls. On sales calls, you get objections, but most of the time, those objections are just surface level. The same thing happens when you're trying to book hyper qualified people onto meetings through the educational and authentic conversational process. You have to remove those surface level problems, those surface level objections, and find the real ones so then you can resonate with them better. And again, this is 10 times harder to do when you're competing with the rest of the coaching market for the perfect customer who is already aware of the problems and all of the solutions, because the prospect sees 50 other people, for example, on their Instagram or Facebook feed, trying to propose their offer to them every single day. And there's a very, very high chance with this that some of those other 50 other people have more authority than you, or just willing to work at lower margins than you, and really don't value their expertise and the effort they're putting in as much as you. It's kind of a race to the bottom. So it's way more efficient to create your own market by creating these perfect prospects who see you as their only viable option for success. Now, to be able to transition a prospect from being unaware of the problem and solution, or just being unaware of the solution, you have to disarm them, because this is what your prospects look like. And with most of the coaches we work with, this is what their prospects look like today. They're covered up in armor, because in 2023, 95% of the B2C space have hyper aware and hyper sophisticated markets. So this is what your prospects look like when you're trying to book them onto calls, or when you're just trying to get them to commit to anything, because they are always in defense mode. They've been burned by other agencies, services, or consultants. They're constantly being spammed with pitches from your competitors when you're competing in that same pocket of the market. And to disarm them and convert these prospects, we leverage points of rapport through sales assets to convert them from zone to zone. You see, in the conversion process, there's 4 zones that you're converting your prospects from until you convert them into the conversion hole, or ultimately collect that cash for that customer. This is all about asking yourself, how many touch points do you actually need to convert your prospect from where they are right now to where you want them to be, and convert them to this golden square right here with the money symbol, which really signifies the ultimate destination, or going from being your prospect to being your customer. When a prospect tells you, Mrs. Expert or Mr. Expert, I have faith in your proposition and I am ready to work with you. The nearer the individual is to the final destination, the more valuable they generally are, and it gets simpler to persuade them. See, it's not so simple, because the closer people are to this conversion hole right here, the more competitors are competing for their attention. And every time I mention a touch point, I'm not exclusively talking about them converting or the transaction happening. I'm indicating an assurance that moves a prospect closer to investing into what you're offering. And the more distant someone is from your end goal, so if they're in zone 4 or zone 3, the more you need to educate them and persuade them in regards to your product. Let's actually use the example of an investment coach so I can explain this whole conversion hole a little bit better. So let's say you're an investment coach and you're trying to convert someone into your options trading training, right? A prospect in zone 4 would be someone who wants a side hustle, who wants to make money, but has not expressed interest yet in the stock market. Someone in zone 3 would be someone who has not invested in the stock market, but they're aware of the stock market, and maybe they express some interest in investing. Someone in zone 2 would be someone who's already investing in the stock market with another strategy. So not with your strategy, but maybe with a competitor strategy or a free strategy they found on YouTube, or any resource they found. And then someone in zone 1 is someone who already wants to do or has tried options trading. And then of course the conversion hole is someone who becomes your customer. And right now, there's a very, very high chance that you're the person who is targeting someone in zone 1 or zone 2, which means you're competing with a ton of other coaches. Instead, you need to target people in zone 2 or zone 3 and kind of go into a different segment of your market, which sounds like it's actually going to make it harder for you to convert people because, oh, I need to educate them, I need to do this, but it actually makes it way easier because, again, someone who's in zone 3 isn't armored up like this. They have a lot less armor on because they're a lot less sophisticated to whatever you're going to offer them. What we do to convert everyone from touch point to touch point is use sales assets. This example in the investing market, if we were targeting someone in zone 3, we would convert them the following way by leveraging authentic conversational flows. So from zone 3 to zone 2, we would find out the exact inefficiency that's keeping them from hopping into trading stocks or investing. Then send a knowledge gap that resonates with that inefficiency or that challenge, and have that knowledge gap angled in a way where it talks about the benefits of options trading if someone gets into investing. This would resonate with them because you're solving their problem and you're telling them how they can actually get started in the stock market, And B, the second thing this does is it serves the purpose of building their awareness of options trading. And the sales asset could be a lead magnet, a VSL, maybe a flowchart, a video, a coaching call recording. Everything is a sales asset as long as it provides value and it is talking about a specific issue or a list of specific issues that you can send to a prospect and then have them resonate with it. Along with this, we're going to have a social media profile funnel filled with sales assets, so other sales assets just general about your whole space and about a list of issues, aiming to educate visitors on trading. Convert them from zone 2 to zone 1. Now that we've built trust with that first touch point of rapport, which was the knowledge gap, right? The resource we sent to cover and resonate with their inefficiency, we're going to build the second touch point of rapport by getting them into our free private community, or this can be a low ticket membership depending on what you want to do and how loyal of an audience you already have built up on your socials. In the private community, they're going to be incentivized to join it for more resources and possibly one-on-one chat support with you or the other members who all are trying to solve the same challenge. Because if you're an options trading coach, for example, the community is going to be for people who are trying to get into options trading and who want help with it. So it's going to be kind of like a small world of like-minded individuals. With this incentive, when we get them into the community, we're able to collect their emails in the process. The community needs to have a testimonials or results channel from your private coaching students. This basically indoctrinates the free members into your way of thinking and into your way of solving challenges even more. After collecting their email right here, we're able to run a newsletter for daily nurturing to everyone who joined the community. And every 30 days with this email newsletter, we're able to get people onto automated or live webinars to convert the low-hanging fruit in the community into customers. Now, from zone 1 to cash collected, in addition to the webinars, leverage growth specialists to triage and pre-sell every prospect before the sales call. So basically do most of the closing work in chat with growth specialists, with the team. And then this will make the conversion 10 times easier. So once you or a closer takes that call, it'll be basically a no-brainer for the prospect to become a customer. Also, all of the value built out through these touch points here does a very good job of building rapport. So once the prospect is on a sales call, becoming a customer is a no-brainer for them. For some of the bonuses of this system, this whole system, once set up, it lets you automate 95% of your client attraction process as well as 95% of your sales process. Now, the funnel itself can be built out in under 10 days of the feedback loop from these authentic conversations. Now, all you need to do, or potentially a closer, is take care of 5% of the sales process with the system, and that will be to get on to 2 to 3 hyper-qualified calls every single day. Now, these calls are already triaged through chat flows by the setters, and the same applies to objections. The setters try to pre-frame prospects with objections so that you don't get those confrontations on the call. The setters can also handle most of these objections. This, again, you're able to not waste time doing discovery calls and triage calls, and you also don't have to waste all that time handling objections on the sales call or giving out free consultations to people who just want to pick your brain. The second bonus of the system is that your lifetime value increases because you stop competing with the most competitive segment of your market. As I mentioned right here, you're going to be able to stop competing with everyone here and start creating your own market by focusing on the unaware prospects in your niche, which will make sure the prospects you develop through the system are only seeing your solution as the only viable option to take to be able to get to that next step. Also, with the system, you're able to get a 30 to 40% closing rate guaranteed. Once we stopped looking at appointment setting as appointment setting and started looking at it as the key factor in the sales process, we realized that 95% of objections can be handled through chat by just asking the right questions. So we always build out a list of the most common objections. It could be money, not enough time, not the right time to do this. And then we build out chat flows that the growth specialists or setters use in these conversations to qualify if the prospect is able to pass that objection or even handle that objection through chat before getting them on a call with you. And if the prospect does not pass the objection, they don't get on that call with you. This applies to even specific customer objections. For example, our Amazon FBA coaching client faced objections of people already being in other coaches' courses. So he was trying to sell an Amazon FBA program, but just like most of the markets these days, his market is extremely saturated, especially because Amazon FBA, if you know it, it's basically a new shiny object right now in the make money online space. So we had to build out a specific chat flow to identify if people are in a course, but then identify if they're actually happy with that course. And if they're not happy with the course, we would continue that conversation, qualify them, and get them on a call. And if they are happy with their current course or program, we would end the conversation there so that when he gets on a sales call, that's not an objection he gets. Another bonus of the system is you get 90% plus show up rates. Because our growth specialists build out trust relationships with all of these prospects before booking them on a call, the prospects literally feel guilty not to show up onto that sales call with you. And to ensure that this actually works, we also follow up with prospects, but instead of annoying them and following up with them and asking them, please show up to the call, please show up to the call, we actually send them a homework resource. So it could be another lead magnet, a case study, another knowledge gap, a coaching call recording, maybe a video of what they should expect on that call. And they need to go through that before the call to get them more prepared for the session. So now when we are doing follow-ups before the call is scheduled, we're following up about that resource to make sure they understand it before the call, and this indirectly reminds them about the call, but at the same time it does not create any doubt in their mind. Because basically regular follow-ups, what happens is it can make it seem like you just want to get them on the call to basically sell them something they don't want, or you just want to take their money. Especially if you're doing those regular follow-ups where you're like, hey, do you remember about our call on Thursday? Please make sure you show up to the call on Thursday. Those regular follow-ups can spook your prospects, but a resource follow-up makes it seem like you genuinely care about understanding and providing value to them because you genuinely want to help them. With this sales process, you get 0 unqualified brain pickers because it's not a secret that your Calendly or Typeform pre-call qualifying questions really don't always do the job, because people will lie or spin their story to just get on a call with you because they want the free value that you have to provide and they want to leverage your expertise for free. Even though it's a discovery call, they will try to pick your brain. And they will lie on that form before getting on the call with you, and you're just stuck with 30 to 50% of your sales calls or your discovery calls just being unqualified. So before letting anyone on the call, we make sure to hyper qualify them. So we get their goals, we get their financial situation, their willingness to invest in themselves, and any other qualifier you need before we even propose that call to them, or otherwise we just won't schedule that prospect to make sure your time is not wasted. But then for the qualified prospects, the answers are sent in a Google form directly to your email. So when you're about to get on a sales call or your closer is about to get on a sales call, they're going to be able to go through that form and they're going to have context for that call. Another big bonus of the system is something I've never seen with ads, with pretty much with no other organic system, and that's that growth specialists are highly trained VAs and most are from third world countries. So on the low end, they earn about $25 per qualified call they book. Now let's say you have the lowest guaranteed closing rate at 30 to 40%. This means that you acquire every client every 3 calls you take. 3 times 25 is $75 per new client that you attract with this system. That's literally how much it costs for me to fill up my gas, and if you own a car in the United States, or your weekly gas fill up is probably in that same range, which is just mind-blowing to me. Because personally, again, I have never seen cost per acquisitions or customer acquisition costs being this low with any other method. So if you'd like to get a roadmap on how exactly this process can be implemented into your business for you, shoot me a DM on Instagram and we can book a strictly no sales pitch call walkthrough session. So if you have any questions about the system or any questions in general, those can get answered.